Today's story is titled A Second Chance for Tobe. Tobe was a man who had it all, at least. That's what the world saw. At 35, he worked as an engineer for one of the top 5 firms in the United States. His 6-figure salary ensured his family lived comfortably in a spacious home in the suburbs, far from the worries of financial instability. His wife, Mayen, was 28 and a dedicated housewife, caring for their 3 children. On the surface, their life seemed perfect, but beneath the polished exterior, cracks were forming. Tobe was financially stable but emotionally distant. He often dismissed Mayen's needs and desires, belittling her role as a stay-at-home mom. "I am the one paying the bills," he would remind her during arguments. When Mayen brought up how exhausting it was to care for the children, or expressed her dreams of starting something of her own, he scoffed. "What do you need extra money for? I provide everything." Tobe's words stung, not because they were true, but because they stripped Mayen of her confidence. Over time, she began to believe that her value was tied to how well she maintained the house and cared for the kids. The financial abuse crept in slowly. Tobe controlled every dime, scrutinizing her spending and demanding explanations for even the smallest purchases. If she asked for money for personal items or outings, he responded with irritation. "You don't contribute financially, so don't waste my hard-earned money." Mayen felt trapped. She loved her children dearly, but the psychological toll of being demeaned by the man she once adored was becoming unbearable. She longed for independence, to feel like she had control over her life. One afternoon, as the kids napped, she scrolled through social media and stumbled upon a community of women who had built successful businesses from home. Feeling inspired, she decided to take a leap of faith. She started small, baking pastries for neighbors and friends. What began as a simple side hustle quickly grew through word of mouth. Others started pouring in, and Mayen found herself staying up late to fulfill them. Unknown to Tobe, who was always not available, she had created a thriving business. For the first time in years, she felt empowered. Her confidence blossomed as she earned enough to cover household expenses. The turning point came one evening when Mayen asked Tobe for money to enroll the children in a summer program. He refused, claiming it was unnecessary. That night, she quietly paid the fees with her own earnings. When Tobe found out, he exploded in anger. "Where did you get the money from?" he demanded. "I paid for it with my own money," Mayen said, her voice firm but calm. "So you're hiding things from me now?" he barked. "No," she replied. "I'm doing what's best for our children, something you should have supported." The situation escalated. Tobe's anger boiled over, and in the heat of the moment, he insulted her harshly. The kids heard the commotion and started crying. That night, Mayen made a decision. She called the police, not out of spite, but to protect herself and her children. When the officers arrived, Tobe was asked to leave the house. Tobe was furious but strangely relieved as he packed his belongings. "You will regret this," he told Mayen as he walked out of the door. For the first few weeks, Tobe reveled in his newfound freedom. There was no one to nag him about responsibilities or question his decisions. He went out with friends, stayed late at work, and enjoyed the quietness of his bachelor life. But as time passed, the silence began to weigh on him. Coming home to an empty apartment felt less like freedom and more like isolation. He missed the noise, the laughter of his children, Mayen's soft singing as she cooked, even the occasional chaos of family life. Memories of their happy moments played in his mind like a movie he couldn't turn off. One evening, he stood outside their house, hoping to catch a glimpse of his kids through the window. When Mayen noticed him, she didn't open the door. He tried calling, but she let the phone ring. Tobe realized the gravity of his actions. He had pushed away the very people who mattered to him. Desperate, he reached out to mutual friends and family, asking them to plead on his behalf. He sent letters to Mayen, sent text messages apologizing for the years of neglect and abuse. He acknowledged his mistakes. Writing, he said, "I was blinded by pride, but I see clearly now. I miss you and the kids. I want to come home, not as the man I was, but as the man I should have been all along." For months, Mayen kept her distance. She wasn't sure she could trust his words. But as she observed his persistence and genuine remorse, her heart softened. One afternoon, she invited him over for lunch. It was awkward at first, but the children's joy at seeing their father bridged the gap. Slowly, Tobe began to reintegrate into their lives. He attended the kids' school events, helped Mayen with her business, and even took on more household responsibilities. The man who once dismissed his wife's ambitions now championed them, proudly telling friends, "She's the most hardworking woman I know." Their love story wasn't perfect, but it was real. Tobe learned that love wasn't about control or providing financially. It was about partnership, respect, and showing up even when it was hard. Mayen discovered her strength and realized she deserved more than just survival. She deserved joy, peace, and support. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Tobe took Mayen's hand. "Thank you for giving me a second chance," he said. Mayen smiled, her fingers gently intertwining with his. "Thank you for becoming the man our family needed." The soft hum of the crickets filled the silence between them, and the golden hues of the fading sun wrapped around them like a warm embrace. The children's laughter echoed faintly from inside the house, a reminder of how far they had come. Their journey wasn't without scars, but those scars became reminders of the storms they had weathered and the love that had ultimately brought them home. As the stars began to pepper the sky, Tobe glanced at Mayen and whispered, "I don't take this for granted. I'll keep showing up every day." Mayen leaned her head on his shoulder, letting out a content sigh. "That's all I ever wanted." Together they sat in a quiet gratitude, knowing that healing wasn't about erasing the past, but about building a future stronger than anything they had left behind. Thank you.